Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of the Ragin Marks Wrestling Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ravishing Randy.
And I'm Rampage Ramsey.
And, bruh, there is a lot that has broken down pretty much since the last time we did this podcast. So, a lot of ground to cover today, but I feel like it would be remiss. You're wearing a Nola Strong's shirt, and we just had the announcement a few days ago that WrestleMania 42 is going to be coming back to New Orleans, baby. 3 WrestleManias in a 12-year span. That is nuts.
Yeah, I think what WWE is realized is what the NFL realizes. There's no better location for a big event than New Orleans. You know, just the proximity, the accommodations, the hotel accommodations for one. Two,
Mhm.
the venues that are close around its walking distance. You've got the Superdome and the arena side by side, so it's easy
Yeah.
to run everything. Uh, Convention center less than a mile.
Hmm.
I mean, with Bourbon Street, that unfortunately probably go back down to like restrictions like they was for the Super Bowl, which was terrible, but it was enjoyable.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like maybe the optics of having like military personnel, and cops pretty much like several dozen at each intersection, be like startling to people, and probably have people be like, "Wow, are we living in a police state or anything like that?" But you also have the other side of the coin where you had a lot of the people that were here for the Super Bowl saying they never felt safer because there was that
There
high
was a
presence there.
presence.
So it's like the optics there. It's flip a coin, but still, Super Bowl went off without a hitch, all things considered. Um, and like to your point, yeah, the NFL realized a long time ago that it's perfect. The fact that everything is so closely concentrated that it's very easy to get around. You're not having to drive 45 minutes to an hour outside of like the downtown area to get to one event and then go all the way over here for another event like you do in most other cities. It's just kind of crazy that, WrestleMania 30 being in New Orleans was a big deal. Part of the reason why they came back for 34 so quickly was because they wanted to be a part of the city's tricentennial celebration in 2018. That was like the big selling point was like, hey, 2018 is the year of big everything. And so they were trying to get as many of the big events as they possibly could. So for WWE, it made sense like, oh, yeah, hey, we would love to be a part of your big 300-year anniversary celebration. Awesome. To me, it's kind of crazy that we're getting WrestleMania again this soon when you think of like all these other like rumored cities, like Minneapolis has kind of been in the rumor mill for a while. London has been like a big buzz point of conversation about bringing a WrestleMania to the UK. In Indianapolis, we knew was going to be due a WrestleMania at some point. So it's just kind of crazy that New Orleans all of a sudden kind of came out of left field and is like, up, well, now they're the front runner, up, and now they have it. It's awesome. As somebody that lives in New Orleans, it's awesome that WrestleMania is in my backyard yet again, and definitely know that I will be there for a majority of the events and hopefully for both nights of the big event itself. But it's just kind of crazy when you think, man, like 3 WrestleManias in 12 years. That's unprecedented.
Well, I think also too now it's about the it's not about where WWE wants to put it. It's what city's bidding for it.
Right.
And so with the availability of the city bidding for WrestleMania to bring it back, and WWE's wanting to be in the city where it's probably the best ran WrestleMania on a business aspect. So just like the NFL, you know, with the state putting the upgrades into the Superdome to make what the Superdome is now.
That was another big, well, I was going to say that was maybe another big selling point and how we did get it back so soon was because of the renovations to the dome. Maybe that's one of the reasons why, too.
And I'm also been a big proponent saying that this will be the last Super Bowl the city of New Orleans get. But if New Orleans keeps and the state keeps doing the innovations of what they're doing to the Superdome to keep it current, this is going to be something going because it's the best run. The Raves of the Super Bowl in New Orleans was like top notch. I mean, everything was done perfection. There was no problems, no hiccups. Um, they had the backup. They had the backup energy system in the background just in case the lights didn't come back on for the halftime show.
I was gonna say Kendrick Lamar didn't go as crazy as Beyonce with the halftime show, so
Yeah, the lights weren't that crazy. But also too, is just it's the best city to host something like that. That's why it keeps coming back. Like the Super Bowl keeps coming back, and I think WrestleMania coming back. And I won't be shocked that there will be another WrestleMania in the next 4 or 5 years because it's going to be it's their they said it. I forgot who said it, but I've heard multiple times it's their select destination for WrestleMania. That's where they want to be at because it's how
that's
everything
crazy.
because it's how they draw up. No one knows how.
Well,
No one knows how
well,
to
you
do
gotta,
crowd
you gotta
control.
well, I was gonna say you kind of think about it. Dallas has been on somewhat of a steady rotation. You could even throw, in a sense, like Orlando into that mix. Just as in, like, it seems like maybe about every 7 to 8 years they get a WrestleMania. So I mean, yeah, if like New Orleans does get added into that steady rotation, hell, I'd be happier than a pig in shit getting a WrestleMania. I would say, hell, one every decade, I'd be happy. Shit.
Still, I'd rather be at home watching it just because, hey, the ticket price this year in Vegas is ridiculous. So, mm,
Yeah, look, I've already started saving my coincellos. Like, as soon as as soon as the rumor mill started humming that like 42 could potentially be in New Orleans, I started squirreling away some money. Once they made the announcement official, it's like, okay, yeah, like we're gonna try to save like maybe $20 a week and see what we build up. Like I want to try to go to both nights, but got to see what those ticket prices are. Um, I will say previous WrestleManias, I think for WrestleMania 30, we were like 100 level, like basically um, kind of like 50-yard line, roughly, like 40 rows up. So, I mean, it was like perfect prime viewing. Um, WrestleMania 34, we were in the 300 level. I almost have no qualms of sitting in the nosebleeds. They're not necessarily terrible seats at the dome. It's like I just want to be there, say I was there, especially if the product is still as hot a year from now as it kind of is now. Like, just got to be there, man.
I I've I had the best seat on the house. I was on my couch
Yeah,
both
I know.
times, especially the night
But
before going to a Ring of Honor show that lasted till like 1 o'clock in the morning.
well, I don't think we have to worry about a Ring of Honor show this go around with Tony Khan now owning it. Don't
Well,
think we got to worry about
the great thing is though for the fans is that people that want to go to stand and deliver, it's gonna be in the arena.
that. Hmm.
And guess what? To go to WrestleMania Night One, you can just stay right there,
Yeah, you just literally
cross over,
cross over the bridge,
and then
man.
you're there. It's gonna be, it'll be the shortest location between the NXT
Venues.
venues for that. That's why it is the best destination is because it's right there. The venues are right there.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm amped. I'm excited. And so no, I definitely can't wait till next year. I've already started like getting together with some work friends that are excited to go. I got one of them that as big of a wrestling fan is. He's like, dude, like I couldn't go to WrestleMania 30. I was living in Tennessee at the time. Couldn't go to WrestleMania 34. We already had a family trip that was planned out like a year and a half, 2 years in advance. And it was like, can't duck out on family like that. He's like, no, man, I know it's coming next year. I'm already freeing my calendar. Like, there's Nothing's getting in the way. I'm going to be there. I'm like, well, awesome, man. Awesome. And it's kind of cool that like it's like, hey man, like usually I go to this event and this event whenever WrestleMania is here. Let's try to link up. You know, you're already starting to get the gears turning with that about trying to hit as many of the events as you can and try to bring along as many people as you can. It's a great thing
Yeah,
about the wrestling community, dude.
I gotta probably find a way get my way down there and probably not do WrestleMania events, but there's a couple things to do. I like go to podcast shows and stuff because you never know who will be standing right next to you.
I will say this. I think you came with T and myself to the what happened when Bruce Pritchard live experience. I will say if Busted Open is coming to New Orleans, and they've been making a big deal about going to WrestleMania every year, but we will definitely be in attendance for one of their shows.
I'm down for Busted Open.
What
I'm down
Culture is
for
another one.
Culture too. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
hit both. I'll hit both of those. Probably come down just for those two and be like, all right.
Give you
Which
give you the keys to my house, man. Be like, hey, if you want to watch, if you want to watch WrestleMania while we're at it, you go to my house and watch it. I'm
to the
sure
way
my wife would. I'm sure my wife would love that.
be like, there's nothing but like just have me and Kevin there and be like, hey, like we're going to go, but Kevin and AJ's gonna come over and watch WrestleMania.
We could do a simulcast. Wait, hold on. Ooh, we could do a simulcast. You could be podcasting from my couch, and I could just kind of like jump in every once in a while, like being the man in the man in the arena, like, oh man, like, oh, this is what's going on right now. Ah.
We'll talk about that. That'll be something that'll be interesting to do. That'd be great. Lizzie would be like, what the fuck?
But no, dude, like, so aside from the big WrestleMania announcement, we'll talk about who made the announcement a bit more later, because that's a whole lot to unpack there. But um, I mean, of course, several weeks ago we had the Royal Rumble. A lot happened there. You had Charlotte Flair winning the Women's Rumble,
No sense.
and yeah, I mean that was pretty much the smart money right there. She was the odds-on favorite in Vegas. Surprise, surprise, she wins. Um, Announces she's going to face Tiffany Stratton, and I got to tell you, like, I haven't really been a big fan of the way that they've kind of booked that angle to this point. I literally watched the highlights on YouTube. Like, I mean, like, granted, I've watched the shows, but I watched the highlights on YouTube like the last couple weeks, and it literally felt like copy, paste, copy, paste, like doing the same exact thing. Like, angle with, Naya and Candice LeRae, and then Trish comes in for the save, and then they both get beat down. And then Charlotte comes out after, Tiffany Stratton's left broken in the ring. And I don't know. It's just like they haven't booked Tiffany to look strong. And in a way, I get like you have kind of like the old lion and the old tried and true lion in um, Charlotte Flair versus kind of like the newer, younger lion in Tiffany Stratton. It's just to me, they've made Tiffany kind of look like a joke in all the interactions. What are some of your thoughts on how the build's been going thus far?
Well, first thing, I was a big fan of it. I don't like it. I didn't want that matchup. I don't like it. I understand. Look, Charlotte and everything. I don't want it. I don't want to see Charlotte. As much as I'm glad she's back, but you don't need to be on the main event picture. You don't, because there's people that have toed the fucking line that their time should be coming, and it's the things like
Good,
there should be
good, but
there's
I mean,
better
at the same
matches.
point in time, Charlotte has that aura. Charlotte is that good in the ring. I mean,
Yeah, she's that good in the ring, but hey, she's been out of injury. You come straight from injury and be like, you're going to be shut to the top. It's too much. It's too much the same narrative. She's the John Cena of the men of the women's division, and it's just
Yep.
fucking sickening.
Well,
And I hate to tell you,
I've heard
she's
I've heard somebody put it in this context. In the one hand, you hear it said this way, and it kind of you kind of see it in a little bit of a different light. It's like, yes, has she had way too many runs with the belt? Absolutely. But at the same point in time, how many times has she put somebody over in the process of doing that? Now, the big counter argument that I will make to that is what about when her and Sasha Banks were hot shotting the belt back and forth? Was she really making Sasha at that point? I don't think so. But I mean, like as many times as she's won the belt, she's also laid down and lost the belt too. So
Understandable, but also too is like I said, there's women that's been putting their blood and sweat and tears into this product and into storylines and into this the past year. She has been absent. I know it's injury, but guess what? You got people that earn that spot. I think there's other. It's time for the new. It's time for new. I thought the person that should have won the Royal Rumble should have been Roxanne Perez. Actually, scratch that. I really thought you should have put a Georgiana Grace because then you put Georgiana Grace versus fucking someone that came brand new who's legit. The fucking fans knew who she is. She's a fucking legit one of the top 5 in the world. And then you can put her in a program with Rhea, and it would be a fucking bloodly. It would be an awesome program.
well, sidebar, I thought it made more sense to have Jordan Grace debut on either Raw or SmackDown, and the fact that she's in NXT, it's like, hmm. I know we're bragging about the NXT women's division being like the best women's division in all of pro wrestling, but at the same point in time, it also kind of feels like there's too much jockeying for
But the last
the
PLE,
position.
that last PLE at the end of the show, when you had Stephanie Valcura, you had Georgiana Grace, and then you have
Julia.
Julia in the ring, it's like one of those like, oh shit. It was like, oh, new guard came in. That's the last
Yeah.
match to Roxanne Perez. You just see it. You just saw the old guard. It was like a story. The black and gold was represented in Bailey. The new bloods, the white and gold in Cora Jade and in Roxanne Perez, and then the new blood with Julia. And it's like, hmm, let's see how this goes. And how the match went was perfect, was good. And then early in the match, early in the card, uh, Fakir wins the North American title, and now it's
Mhm.
like the new era. Then Jordan Jana Grace comes in. It's like, oh, this is gonna be fucking awesome. Now this is gonna be probably a 1 year thing because those three are gonna be in the top 10. All three of them are top 10 in the world. Period.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like interesting. But I would say to give the new blood, like to make it to the Royal Rumble, be like boom, like just make that splash. There have been no splashes, like no. Well, until the men's this year, it was
Mhm.
unexpected, But like,
We'll definitely touch on that in a second. Real quick though, I want to get back to the Charlotte and Tiffany of it all. Um, if Tiffany beats Charlotte, do you think that makes her? Like if she beats her at WrestleMania, do you think that makes her?
she's already made, dude.
I get she's already
She's made.
made, but I mean,
She's
do you think that
made.
it
She
will
was
push
made
her to a higher level?
when she was made last year in the Elimination Chamber when all those thousands of fans in fucking Australia was going through the roof for her.
I understand that, but I'm also talking about that. Just hear me out with this. Fact that like the way that she won the title with the Money in the Bank briefcase, it was like she stole an opportunity mid match, was able to get the win the title. They booked her kind of meh since then. But does her beating Charlotte Flair in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, does that make her into a believable champion? And then we maybe book her stronger going forward. It's kind of one of those things. It's like she's got the belt. She's still not sure of herself, whatever. And then when she could say, I beat Charlotte Flair 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Boom.
I guess, But then I'm about to say something you would never thought in a day of life that I would say. But to make a legitimate title run is to beat the champion, the person that she cast in on, and actually beat her in a fucking real match on a big stage. I believe that stage it should be Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania, and that's hard. You never heard King on a motherfucking mouth. Nia Jax should be in a key match in WrestleMania, but I think that would be legitimate. Is to legitimate. Yeah, you stole the belt from her with the cash in,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But if you beat her in a one-on-one rematch for that title, then that to me legitimizes it because now you actually beat her. You didn't take advantage of her. To
Well,
me that makes it legitimate. Charlotte Flair, hey, you got a 25-year-old beating up a 35-year-old who's just coming off of ACL knee.
well, but okay, so like in contrast, so like to kind of flip it around, you get Jey Uso that wins the Men's Royal Rumble,
Which was
and you could
shocking,
say,
fucking shocking shit as it can be.
as star-studded as that Men's Royal Rumble was, and deservedly so, it went on last. No, I don't think very many people had Jey Uso on their bingo card as winning the Men's Royal Rumble, but yet he does. And then in a way, it kind of makes a whole world of sense. Now, when they were doing the whole storyline of who he was going to choose to face at WrestleMania, I kind of felt like to me that was a no-brainer, and that was the route that they ultimately went. He's going to be challenging Gunther for the World Championship at WrestleMania 41. Um, and I feel like we've built the storyline and we've gotten to this point organically, naturally. He challenges Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, comes oh so close, loses. He challenges Gunther on Saturday night's main event for the World Championship, comes oh so close, loses. Now we're going to be getting the third match at Mania, and it's kind of one of those things that like each time along the journey he's leveled up in a sense. He hasn't leveled up to Gunther just yet, but it's like he's leveled up a bit each time. So now that we get to Rumble, or now that we get to Mania, it's like the image of like whereas last year it was everybody fawning over Cody winning the belt over Roman Reigns, you're going to have this go around 60, 70,000 people yeeting, when he ends up winning the belt. At least that looks like the route that we're heading. It's like kind of to me, you've kind of gradually built that up and done it in an organic way.
I don't see gonna lose that title.
You don't.
No, no, no.
I like see.
You
I
can't
feel like
you
I
can't
feel
pull
like
that
to
story.
me, I feel like to me, if Jay eats a loss at Mania, I kind of feel like you've cut his legs out from under him, and now you can't take him seriously in any of those main event spots.
That's the thing. Is like I I look back like what he's done the past year. Great work, great work. But also look back at last year's WrestleMania match. Dud with his own fucking brother. And I look back, I'm like, it does nothing for me. I'd rather see John Cena versus Gunther. There's plenty of people I'd rather see against Gunther than Jey Uso.
Fans are behind him.
Yeah, they behind him because it's just like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is over because of his fucking song. Hey, Jey Uso is over because of his fucking catchphrase. It's a great fucking catchphrase. It was great. It's
I
great.
don't
Hey,
see. I'm gonna disagree with you there, and the only reason why is because I feel like he connects with the crowd a lot more than the Yeet. Like they're actually genuinely invested in him. Whereas with Seth, it's like, yeah, you strip away the theme music, and then who is Seth really at the core?
but here's the thing about this too is it, the compassion and the thing about for Jey Uso is that he had the friends in high places, or like he has his people that keeps him grounded. Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes. we're about to go. I think we're about to see this Saturday a double turn. I think you're going to see Sammy going heel and Kevin Owens going babyface. Ultimately,
Really? You think so?
it's the carrying cross. It's the carrying cross. It's the carrying cross.
Huh.
The thing. If you look at what Karrion Cross and what they're doing with Karrion Cross' character is, he's the one that's transitioning characters into heels, i.e., New Day.
Yeah, but okay.
That's the
At the same token, though, why would it make sense to do a double turn and make Kevin Owens a face again? At least like right now. Like where's the logic in that? He was like he was just at SmackDown at Sami Zayn's house in Montreal or like wherever they live now, like basically outside his house stalking him. And you're saying that
I
that is going to
think
make
I
babyface.
I think it's gonna be a double turn that night. I think it's gonna be a double turn. I think Sami Zayn's
Okay.
gonna go to a dark place and it's gonna take away from the fandom, and it's gonna you're gonna feel sorry for. I think Sami Zayn destroys fucking Kevin Owens so bad that you're gonna have sympathy on Kevin Owens, and then you're gonna be like, holy shit,
I
Sami
got a
Zayn.
hot take because I know we were going to talk about Elimination Chamber for a bit, or at least give like our preview and our thoughts. But since we're on the subject of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, I got a hot take. Now, granted, I don't think WWE will do this, but like if this is truly an unsanctioned match, we should do this right. And I know that the name of the premium live event is Elimination Chamber semicolon Toronto. Um, but like I know it's Elimination Chamber, but that match should go on last. And quite literally, they should do it without any of the pomp and circumstance. Like you have your three matches that are announced and official, and then after that, you do the announcement of this next
I go on
thing is
better.
not sanctioned by the WWE or TKO. No
I
music, no
I
nothing. They come out and they just beat the fuck out of each other.
I go on better.
Okay.
You put the men's elimination chamber on last, supposedly, but it technically will be the last match. But during the elimination chamber, they start their fucking match inside the fucking arena because I really don't think I.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, you do that. It just goes
I
through.
don't want anything taken away from the actual Elimination Chamber
You
match.
see who the fuck's in the elimination chamber? This is gonna be a fucking shit show. I'm
Uh,
sorry. You have this the fucking the. It's a shit show. It's
to
like nobody
you,
I want. Dude, come on,
to you,
come on. Damn it!
to, to you, it's a shit show, dude. John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins. The only one that I'm not like overly keen on is Damian Priest, and even Damian Priest is a good fit in there. Now, like, do any of those names jump out at you as like, oh, hey, this is going to be a WrestleMania main eventer? Two, Punk and Cena. But as far as being able to put on an entertaining match with entertaining stories and seeing the different dynamics in the ring, like, no, I don't want anything taken away from that.
I want. So here's the thing. You
I
got
want Sammy and I
you
want
got
Sammy
John.
and
You got.
Kevin to be in their own pocket. I don't want anything taken away from their unsanctioned brawl.
I want in this match in that men's match. To me, the only three people that's in this match that I would say that I like in the match. Oh, I'm sorry. There's not even three. It's two. Is McIntyre and Paul. The rest, I'm sorry. I don't want to see a fucking 40-something-year-old Punk and a 40-something-year-old Cena, who technically, this is a match that can just cause someone's gonna get hurt and it's gonna fuck up WrestleMania. And with fucking Rollins in there, first thing, I hate the fucking. Why fucking Seth Rollins when. Why can't we fucking give the fucking dude to Finn Balor? This is what to me, it's a shit show because of the fact that Finn Balor's not in that match. Why are we keep fucking shitting on fucking Finn Balor? And that's to me like that. I'm
I'll
like,
give you that.
To me, I'm not interested in that match.
I legitimately thought that it would have been maybe better storytelling, especially when you look at everything that's been going on with Seth Rollins as of late, for him to lose to Finn, maybe, and then take it out on Finn, and then he ends up getting in de facto because of that. At least to me, that seems like more interesting and compelling storytelling,
And
just because of this downward path that Rollins has been on the last couple months.
and how this is supposed to be cut and dry per se. This should be a win for John Cena, correct?
Um, I would say that like I think the odds favor Cena. That's why I mean, like, look, you could have anybody in here, I would say, save for Logan Paul or Damian Priest, that you can make a convincing argument about why they would be the ones that would maybe be a good matchup for or for Cody Rhodes. Um,
Well,
you could
I can make probably about a good 35 million reasons why Paul would be a great decision against Cody Rhodes at
well,
WrestleMania.
yeah, and like if we did a deep dive, I would say, but I'm saying realistically, you have storyline elements of Seth Rollins, you have storyline elements of Drew McIntyre, especially when you figure in on the fact that like Drew's whole mission had been try to take out the bloodline. Cody, why the hell were you tagging with Roman Reigns at Bad Blood? So there's that. The CM Punk of it all about, that promo battle that they had in the ring at Raw a few weeks ago was pretty interesting. And then of course Cena. That's why I'm saying, like, realistically, you can make a compelling argument for most of the people in here, but I would say the bigger arguments can be made for Punk and Cena, and then between those two, Cena.
I think Drew McIntyre wins it just because how he's being booked, losing to everybody. Like he lost to everybody that he's going against. He lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just the storyline of oh, and then this is finally like I gotta win this, and that's I, to me that it is. I hope it's McIntyre.
By the way, just like real quick, because like we didn't really talk about the Cody and Kevin Owens match at Royal Rumble, that ladder match. I was gonna say you were here watching it at my house. Um, that closing sequence, whenever Cody slammed him through that ladder, we all were like, "Oh God, he's dead." How the hell he didn't fuck up his neck on that? Like, Jesus.
It's the beginning. It's the beginning of the turn of heel Cody, and
I
then
was gonna, I was gonna say you're not the only one that's been kind of predicting that Cody's gonna be going this route. Do you think it's maybe too soon?
no, never. Never. Because here's the thing: if you have Cody versus Cena, two baby faces. I don't know. This is not WrestleMania 6.
Do you think he sells his soul to The Rock on Saturday? Because that's like the big thing. Like, Rock's like, I want your soul.
Yes. Cody. He always wears the suits. Why not? Suits are a heel move.
Dude, somebody made the argument. Somebody made the argument about, like, and granted, like, Punk's whole thing is being anti-establishment, but what if Punk, who's gone on record many a time to say that he'd do anything to be champion again. He's only in it for the money, all that stuff. Like, what if CM Punk ends up cashing in the favor to sell his soul to get the belt, and then you have corporate man Punk?
No.
Or maybe he goes by CM Phil, corporate man Phil.
No, because I think
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like, it just kind of feels like to me it's still too early in the Cody as champion saga to have him go heel.
Hey, I'm all for like John Cena go straight heel, go Hollywood Cena.
But and that's also been thrown out there. But then at the same point in time, if this is indeed
His last
Cena's
run.
last year with the company, are you really going to have him be a heel for the majority of that last run?
So many questions.
Yeah, I mean, questions are a good thing.
Yeah.
I got a lot of questions about the women's elimination chamber match because the winner's going to be facing either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky at WrestleMania 41 because they have their match this coming Raw, and basically whoever wins that will go on to Mania. Got a feeling it'll be Rhea, especially them playing up the fact that like, oh, Rhea's never beat Io, Rhea's never beat Nia. Well, she's going to beat her on Monday. And then we have our 6 women. We have Liv, we have Bianca, Alexa Bliss, Bailey, Naomi, Roxanne Perez. And I got to say, although that there are 6 intriguing, incredible names that are on the list, should definitely be entertaining in-ring product. There's only one name that jumps out at me as like, this is the person I could see standing across the ring from Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, and that's going to be Bianca. For me, at least. Like looking
I
at this,
I think Bianca's the one that fucking destroyed Cade Cargill. I
Jade
think
Cargill.
Jade Cargill. I think that's going to be the match at WrestleMania for Bianca. I understand what you can think of Belair, but you know what? I think the name that's on here that just resonates the match is going to be Roxanne Perez. That's what I would pick. That's what I wanted to see with Rhea.
See, like I love Roxanne. She was our women's wrestler of the year for this past year. At the same token, I'm just looking at the optics of it, like David versus Goliath. Are we booking somebody that's going to be dethroning Rhea at Mania, or are we going to be booking somebody that's going to?
No, I think whoever facing Rhea is not going to win the title.
That's why I kind of feel like if that's the route that we're going to go, I kind of feel like that's why it's Bianca.
No,
I don't think you do live. I
they
don't think
don't.
you do live again. You
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 don't.
done, you did that story for a whole year, and it
You
was
don't do
great.
live. You don't do live. You
I
don't
don't.
do
I
Bailey.
I personally don't want to see Bailey.
You don't do Bailey. You don't do Naomi. You don't do. You don't do Bianca. I think Bianca, Jade, and Naomi is going to have a three. It's going to be a three-way match. I think the storylines were being planted. They haven't called. They haven't talked to her since. She's never been picked. Jade never picked up the phone on with them. The
Yeah.
storyline is being placed for all three of them to have an interaction because they showed the video. Oh, look at
But why? But okay.
Liv.
But why do you think? But why do you think it was Bianca that attacked her and not Naomi? Because if there was anybody that had anything to gain from taking Jade out, it was Naomi. Jay
Jealousy,
gets taken out. Naomi.
jealousy,
Naomi's.
jealousy.
What does
Because
Bianca have to be jealous of Jade for?
Jade was getting more cheers than Bianca. People wanted to see Jade. But look, did you want to see Bianca or did you want to see Jade? I want to see what Jade does in WWE. I see what Bianca done. I tune in to watch Jade. I'm not tuning in to watch Bianca.
Yeah, but dude, like to me, Naomi had the most to gain because Naomi, like Jay gets taken out. Bianca's about to have to relinquish the tag titles, and Naomi's like, "Well, what do we? No, 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 we're friends. I can jump in, and I can, I can, do this with you." And so then they have their run with the belts, and then they just lost the women's tag belts on Raw
And
last night.
supposedly there was a call out by
And,
Naomi.
and who and who ate the pin? Naomi.
And then there was a call out. They called out each other out after the match. Supposedly, I didn't get to read the article yet, but I think there's going to be a match. I think it's going to be intertwining. I think there's plenty of storyline. I think that's what you have to go with. That's more of an intriguing storyline. Those three. You bring in Roxanne Perez, the future, the prodigy. You bring her in and have her against Rhea. and have that match because hey, guess what? Who's the Iron Woman in this year's Royal Rumble? It was Roxanne Perez. You know,
Yeah, I like just to me,
to, to the ultimate,
I kind of
to
feel
the
like she could have
ultimate,
filled the
to the
Tiffany role
ultimate,
in the next year.
to the ultimate Iron Woman in the Rumble, who is Rhea. You have this matchup. I think it's going to be. You see, like the now and the future, and like you do this momentum with Roxanne that she almost beats her, almost beats her. Hey, maybe even put her over, and then have stuff like a program going out throughout to the summer with Roxanne and Rhea. But I can see you can pull the trigger and let her win, let Roxanne win. But I think whoever you play is put. If that's the case, you put Alexa Bliss come back. That's the biggest fucking pop of the fucking night of the fucking Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And make her like go into this little storyline where she starts getting darker and darker and darker, and then at WrestleMania turns to the after the loss, the Wyatt Six now comes and picks her and takes her in and becomes the leader of the Wyatt Six. But
Perhaps.
but I'd rather see this. But if it was me booking this match, I would have had booking this. I would have had Roxanne Perez win the Rumble to choose Tiffany Stratton and actually bring what the magic they have in the ring to the millions and millions around the world to watch. 1 second.
Mhm. Do 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 do. No, I'm not gonna lie. It would have been interesting to see Roxanne and Tiffany do what they did in NXT on the main roster.
Yeah.
Do it on like a main event stage like Mania.
Yeah, you do that, and then for the, and then you do then if you want to do that, then Elimination Chamber, book strong, book your Elimination Chamber if you want to do whatever, like to lose to Rhea Ripley. But I think that would have been a better stage to promote a young talent. Put up a young talent up on the top of the of the stage and then work with that way. To me, that's what I would have done.
Hmm. Um.
Could have be a lot better than having Charlotte Flair just like I choose you. No,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I haven't been a big fan of how we booked or like how we got to Charlotte and Tiffany, and I'm not a big. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like Smack. I got to be honest, like SmackDown the last couple weeks has been pretty lackluster in my opinion.
and
Like,
how
just
great. We
like
ready for this?
Raw to me has been firing on all cylinders, and like SmackDown, it kind of feels like has been struggling to fill the 3 hour time gap.
And how great would it have been if Roxanne Perez wins the WWE Women's Heavyweight, the Women's Championship, and then old girl Kate, uh, God damn it,
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you like a big roster sheet
yeah, I do. I need a roster sheet. Her best friend,
for Jade.
Corey Jade, goes and wins the knockout title, and then they come in and then just start bringing across gold around, and then wins the WWE Tag Team Championships, and just having that power dynamic.
By the way, sidebar, just because like talking about somebody going into TNA winning a knockouts belt, I gotta say, man, Obafemi versus Moose.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, my body is ready, dude. That is gonna
I
be
am ready.
big man slapping man meat. It's gonna be a hell
That's
of a match, dude.
that's my Obafemi versus Fatu. That that was the match I've been wanting to see. Now I want to see Obafemi versus Moose. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, this will sate you till then, man.
Oh yeah, ooh,
Dude, like if only TNK were here to like see us talk so glowingly about TNA right now.
how great TNA's been going since making this agreement with the WWE.
I mean, they were on the right track before that. Like, granted, there were a lot of questions whenever they let your boy go. Now I'm pulling a U and I'm blanking on the name.
I know you're
Uh,
talking about
yeah, Booker behind the scenes. Shit. I'm gonna look it up because it fucking kills me whenever I do this. But no, like it was crazy whenever they let him go. Um, everybody was wondering. It's like, okay, well, they made a lot of really good strides in the last year or so. Like, what are they? Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore. And I was like, even sitting there like typing, and then boom, it just hit me like that. Scott D'Amore. Um, but no, like they had made a lot of strides in like the year and a half, 2 years since he had taken over the booking full time. Like the names that they brought in, who they brought in, got better and better. And now with this partnership with WWE, you're seeing it is definitely a bit more of a reciprocal and a give and take compared to the relationship that TNA had with AEW.
Well,
When that was a very brief partnership.
look at what because AEW didn't do nothing for TNA.
No,
TNA did business for AEW, and that's the thing. Like, it's not give or take. Is Obi Femi going to win against Moose? No, I think Moose is going to be the NXT and the TNA champion.
oh, you think Moose is going to win both belts?
I think Moose wins both belts. To give Obi Femi his first loss. I don't think they're going to
Then
go
it's going to make it bigger whenever Obafemi gets to come back and then beats him to get the belt back. So,
at stand and deliver.
hmm
You're gonna make this. You do a work shoot. So hey, they're gonna be at TNA event. TNA wins. Then they go into stand and deliver, and then have stand and deliver. Have Obi come go over stand and deliver. Or it's the fact that might be Obi Femi's last match, and he's end up being called up because there's not much he can do. There's not that because guess what? I think the stage is set. I think it's going to be the Ethan Page and Ricky Starks, aka now Ricky Saints.
Ricky Saints. Let's actually jump into that because like we had the AEW releases, and we'll talk a bit about the WWE releases in a moment. But like the AEW releases, the big three, so to speak: Malachi Black, Miro, and then Ricky Starks. Um, I think it was great that saw like on Wednesday, like holy crap, like that's Ricky Starks in the crowd. Doesn't say his name, doesn't do anything. The following week on NXT, we don't even get the reveal that he's changing his name to Ricky Saints until after this like 15-minute segment. And then when he finally goes to put pen to paper and they zoom in on the contract, oh boom, it's Ricky Saints. Never like crazy enough, they never really said his name that entire time. It was just like, oh, you know who this dude is, you know. And then it's crazy watching Busted Open After Dark. Whenever like he initially made his debut on NXT, being out in the crowd, Undertaker and Bully Ray were sitting side by side having a conversation, and friggin' Undertaker just points at the monitor and is like, "It's Ricky Starks. It's Ricky Starks." And Undertaker speaking glowingly of Ricky Starks from when he got him ring shape ready for WrestleMania 34 against John Cena. Um, then the following week he signs the contract, and then Ricky Starks appears on Busted Open After Dark with Bully Ray, and basically goes into the whole why he changed his name to Ricky Saints. He's like, look, fresh start, giving love to my home city, giving love to my favorite team, New Orleans Saints. So he's like, not even just the Saints, like just the Saints in general, non NFL Saints, but just like the Saints in general, very synonymous with the city of New Orleans. So It's like paying tribute to his home while also trying to forge a new identity for himself. And I know I see you scribbling away over there. So, do you have a lightning bolt of inspiration?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna change my opinion about Moose and Obi Femi. I think Obi Femi will go over on Moose and win the X Division championship. I forgot he has the X Division championship. So it'll be Obi Femi versus Moose, with Obi Femi going over, and then
Mhm.
Obi Femi losing and stand and deliver to Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry will have all three belts.
Okay. Interesting thought process. Okay.
Then
I'll,
you'll
I'll take a
have.
moment.
I
I'll
know.
take a moment to digest that. While I do, back to Ricky Saints now being on NXT. What are some of your thoughts on that?
It's about time. Like I think this is the shit that was pulled on him by Khan, and the whole point about when he made AEW and he goes, we're not going to hold people, we're not going to hold contracts, we're not going to add injury time, and then all this bullshit. It's a business. You're going to make the business. You follow the same footsteps as what WWE. Talk shit about WWE about doing this, the wrong way to do business. He did the same fucking shit. And so for Ricky Starks to be on NXT, I can't wait because look at the time, the short time Ethan Page has been on NXT. Whole different.
Hmm.
I saw him on as AEW as a joke.
It.
It's
I
a
will say,
night
to
and it's a
me,
night and day
it
difference.
was criminal that as talented as Ethan Page was, and with as much of a character and the charisma that Ethan Page had, he didn't win a single title in AEW. Like, to me, that was just
Comes to
fucking
NXT,
criminal.
comes to NXT, wins the fucking championship. Like boom, like fuck you.
Yeah, like you didn't even necessarily have to put you didn't even necessarily have to put like a big like one of the world championships or anything on him, but I mean, at the very least, not to be a TNT champion or something along those lines. To me, it's like, the fuck are we doing here? Shit.
Like I said, he was booked in AEW like a joke to me, and then being in NXT, wow, his presence, his aura, his confidence. Just you can see the work that's just been done behind the scenes with Shawn Michaels and the coaches with him. It's completely different. We're gonna see a whole new Ricky. We're gonna see a
Yeah.
whole new Ricky Saints. It's gonna be completely different. I with the work. I don't see both of them being at NXT for long, but I think the seasoning. I think the
I kind
seasoning
of
is.
feel like, though, in a sense, probably would see. I think you probably see them there at least for a couple of years, and the only reason why is because they really need to beef up their men's division. Like, if the women's division is the strongest in pro wrestling right now, you could make an equal argument that the men's division, I wouldn't necessarily say is the weakest, but it's definitely one of the weaker iterations of the NXT men's roster that we've had over the course of the last few years. And that's not a knock against some of the guys that are on the upper echelon of the men's division. It's just that, like, it's very top heavy, and you just kind of need to, like, pad that out a bit more, in my opinion.
So I'm gonna bring a little chart here. So
I
this
was
is
gonna
why
say,
I
you got
think.
another bolt of inspiration. Okay.
This is why I think they're gonna be a call up and they won't be in NXT that long. Because if Cody goes heel, Cody needs a stable. So
Huh.
in the stable, Jade Cargill, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints. It's like an invasion angle.
Okay.
It's
By the way, I even went out of my way to write this down, and, like, I kind of glossed over it. What was your hot take for the Elimination Chamber for the women?
the hot take is that Roxanne Perez will win the Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
I truly believe it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, you had talked about earlier. I know we were talking about like the AEW releases. I guess just real quick, we went to Ricky Saints a bit. Malachi Black. Do we see him returning to WWE sooner rather than later?
Oh, sooner. I think you probably see him after Mania season. I think Raw debut. Or he goes back to NXT. I like to see him go back in NXT. But
Yeah, I mean,
I also see him working. Here's the thing. He would go to. I don't think it's no. It wasn't by accident that Vega got sent to SmackDown.
mhm.
It's no coincidence that the White Six got sent to SmackDown. Hey, Aleister Black comes in SmackDown.
I kind of feel like he could definitely be used there
Well, he has to
because
be at
like
SmackDown to kill his wife there.
SmackDown definitely needs some help.
His wife is
Like,
at SmackDown, so he has to be at SmackDown.
yeah, I mean they're riding out this like 3 hour SmackDown thing until June, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So it's like they need to pad that out more because the last I think the last few weeks of SmackDown's been brutal to watch. Um, Miro saw that he just had some stuff going on in Japan.
I think he's New Japan. I think that's the best place for him to sign. There's no place for him in WWE right now. Um, nothing to pull him back in. I think New Japan would be a perfect spot for him. Build that monster character back up, and then probably down the line see him back into WWE. But I think AEW fucked his aura up completely. Like the aura of Miro is no longer there. They destroyed his character
And
completely.
he was like hot for a good stretch there. Like when that Redeemer character, like granted when he first debuted, it was a bit of a joke. But then when he transitioned over to the Redeemer and he was speaking to God, it was like boom. And it kind of felt like as soon as CJ Perry made her debut, that was when it went.
You know what? Fucked it. TNA, and we have Rusev Day back.
I'm all for it.
Because
Like shit, WWE. I
because
can't
Aiden
believe
English
WWE never capitalized on that shit back when. Like,
because
come on,
Aiden English is doing the commentary.
right?
Let's bring back Rusev Day. TNA Rusev Day. Miro versus Moose. Actually, you know
Yeah,
what? I can see some matches in WWE. Fatu, Obafemi.
yeah. I mean, I
I mean,
I kind
but
of feel like we need to rehab. We need to rehab his character a bit before he comes back.
New
So
Japan and TNA, we bring back Rusev Day and TNA.
I'm for it. I'm for it. Um, let's delve into some of the WWE releases or the. You had a couple that weren't so much releases; it's more so they decided not to renew their contract.
So,
Uh,
so Carmella and Sonya Deville contract was not renewed.
mhm.
The Carmella one, she's having problems with her. She had drop foot after giving birth, and she has not been recovered from it. So I think it's going to be a long process for her to get healthy back again. So
But
I think
I even kind of think though, just like looking at like a lot of her Instagram stuff and just kind of like the social media, I think she's kind of content just being a mom right now.
yeah.
So there's not like the huge rush to get back in the ring.
And then with Sonya Deville, we're actually in the negotiations of extending the contract, and then she got the call saying that we're not renewing the contract, which was I'm not shocked because I she's one of those characters that just never worked. The only time I
Well,
liked her character was when she was with Chelsea Green. as a tag team was fucking awesome.
I like that, and I also thought like the authority role that she had for a bit, like GM of SmackDown or whatever. Like I thought she kind of thrived there, but just more so like the Pure Fusion Collective. It's a fucking stupid name. First off, like that whole collaboration never really caught on. Um, I it's almost it's like aside from that, just like taking a look at that group as a whole, I kind of feel like those are three women that have been criminally underutilized and been beaten into the ground. It's
I agree.
like um, everything that they did with shit. What's her face? Um,
Sheena.
Shayna Baszler. Thank you. Just kind of like everything they did with Shayna Baszler. Like there was a moment in time where Shayna Baszler could have been the hottest heel on the fucking roster. And then when they didn't put the belt on her at WrestleMania, granted it was the COVID mania, but like when they didn't put the belt on her then, you just started to see the major drop off of her. And I know that like Vince was never into her because it's like, oh, she wasn't like, you know, she wasn't attractive enough or she wasn't, whatever. But it was like she was a fucking damn good wrestler. And she had the MMA background to boot and was like to me, she was the better WWE version of Ronda Rousey, like as far as like the MMA background, crisp in the ring, can do it all, everything. And now it's kind of like she's an afterthought. And then you have Zoe Stark, that was a very promising talent when she was in NXT, and they call her up, and it just kind of feels like she's in limbo. So it was kind of nice to see all three of them come together because it's like, okay, maybe we're gonna do something with all three of these women, and it never translated. It never went anywhere.
No, because I think when you put like a group or stable, I mean, it just they never had another stable to go against, or they didn't have nothing. It was just like it wasn't like how
Well, they did. They had the is it Damage Control,
yeah,
but
but damage control was already not really damage control what it used to be.
right.
Um, but speaking of the lines of breaking up like tag team partners or stables, Isla Dawn gets
Mm.
released, and that to me was like I scratched my head. That was the only true tag team in women's division that there were, and you released one of them. Now I understand why Alba Fire was not released because Alba Fire is a great fucking wrestler. She should be in a championship. She's a championship collaborator. She should be in the main front. But that tag team collective worked to me worked, but they never. It's part of the women's division where I have a problem with the booking of the women and men's tag teams. It's just been terrible, and I don't understand why would the only tag team you had, and they were never really prominently perceived as a tag team. You know, they were only
Yeah.
came out, they won the title, and then because they were in Scotland, it just to me it was just like, God damn, like can we do something better?
Well, you got Cade Carter and Katana Chance, but one of them's dealing with an injury, and so that's why they haven't been on TV. I think Liv and Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, that's a legitimate women's tag team. This is their third time um, having to run with the belts. Like, um,
I got a hot
to a
take on
certain,
that. I think they would be the last women's tag team champions. I think they're going to fucking drop the belt. I think they're going to stop having the women's tag team division. Makes no fucking sense.
I mean, you do have the
It
women's
makes
mid card belts now.
yeah, it makes no sense. I think those two will be the last ones.
It makes sense if they were defended on a more regular basis, and the fact that you're having them theoretically, um, you're able to defend them on all three shows. Like, utilize that more. Shit, like I kind of feel like, especially trying to fill a 3 hour fucking SmackDown, we should be defending those belts on SmackDown a lot more. Especially when you consider that like Bianca and Naomi are SmackDown talent, they should be defending that shit every fucking week. Like, there is more than enough talent on the women's roster where, like, yeah, we hate the nomer of, oh, take main event player A and main event player B, put them together for a temporary tag team or whatever. But like, there's more than enough women that are on the roster where you can organically pair people off. Be like, hey, we're running as a tag team now. Go with that.
Can we finally say that I've been correct that WWE needs to have a 1 hour or 2 hour show on the Peacock just directly just for women's wrestling?
I wouldn't hate it. It just like, to me, there's already more than enough fucking. Oh man, it's getting
I'm just
harder.
saying
It's
we're gonna
getting
have
harder and harder to consume all this wrestling. There's only so many hours in a day.
they're doing an Evolve that's gonna be on Tubi. I mean they need more spotlight. They need more spotlight, and I think you do a show with them because they have the roster, the talent between NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. They have the fucking roster. That's the best women's roster. If you take all three of those three brands and put them together, that's the best women's roster in the world. And it's fucking criminal that they don't get the time.
You know where they could have gotten time from?
The third hour of fucking Raw, SmackDown, Raw.
Whatever the fuck the Rock's thing was on SmackDown. That's for sure.
Um, so on the other hand too, I think we're gonna have the chauffeur. There's two people that got released that you'll see in AEW right away when they get after the 90 days. Cedric Alexander
Mm-hmm.
and
The
Blair
Art Syndicate,
Davenport.
baby.
And Blair Davenport.
I was gonna say the Blair Davenport one to me was fucking crazy because when she got called up, everybody was like, "Huh?" Not that like it was a huh because of like Blair being bad or anything, but just like, huh? And that was like she had barely gotten her feet wet in NXT when she got called up, and then she had what, like two, maybe three matches on SmackDown, if that.
Uh, she if we would rank the women's fighters the roster, I think she's in the top 20 of the rosters of the women's out of NXT and in all the women's on WWE platforms. She's in the top 20. Like she's legit really good. Problem is, like, they don't book her right. You never see her. So this is like I was dumbfounded. Why are you not using Blair Davenport? She's fucking awesome. But she does fit the AEW mold. I think she would help better over in AEW than here. Cause we're getting heavy
Yeah.
hitters. Here's heavy hitters. You soon you're gonna have Julia, fucking back here, and fucking whatchamacallit, god damn it, I'm Giant Grace coming in. What you gonna do? It's time. Hey, Charlotte, bye. Go. See you. Bailey, bye. See ya. Natalia, bye. No, Natalia, how about you come in executive and help run the women's division as a coach? Stay on and be a coach. But like, it's time to start getting the older guard out and be like, okay, it's time to go.
Man,
Even Becky Lynch. Hey, bye. Time to go.
damn, man, brutal.
Dude, they can't. As much as innovators they can't do what these three girls can do. This is going to be the thing. Like, you're going to have, at some point, those three put in with Roxanne Perez. You're going to have the four great. That's another four horse. That's the four woman horsewomen.
Horsewoman.
Yeah, there's going to be the four Mount Rushmore Because I think these four could be the greatest four women wrestlers of all time. Just hot
Yeah.
take, hot take.
All right.
Then the another one that just keeps scratching my head is like AOP and Paul Ellering.
Dude, like, all right, so uh Akam and Razar or whatever, it's like it didn't work out the first time. Bring him back. Doesn't work out the second time. Is it kind of like a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me type of situation? Like, I just don't
I'm
get
on
why.
the. I think it would work. I think the whole carrying across that whole faction. I think would work if they had the writers behind it. The writers just
Yeah.
don't know. They just don't have no clue.
Well, yeah, it's just like kind of to me, it's like I get that they're the bad guys and like, good is ultimately supposed to triumph over evil, but also at the same point in time, evil's supposed to win a few rounds to like build up that compelling story of like can good overcome. Like it just kind of feels like every time they would start getting some traction in a storyline, they would suffer a loss. They would set them back. It's almost kind of like the Bray Wyatt stigma as
Yeah,
well. It's like Bray would, get a program going with somebody, we would build up that heat, and then up Bray loses. And it's like you get another opponent, we build them up, and it's like up, Bray loses. It's like, dude, it's like you have to let evil win here and there. Like they don't have to win every time. They just got to win here and there to build that story even better.
yeah.
You're gonna have some people that fall to the dark side along the way. I mean, look at New Day.
First,
Shit, like that was a success.
I just say like if I'm going to wrestling, the agent I want to hire to contract my contracts is Paul Ellering because AOP were I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, my headset's dying in my ear. Um, Let me charge one up so make sure I have some
You're just gonna be flipping. You're gonna be flipping earbuds like every few minutes.
yeah. Um, how do you call it? Paul Ellering is going to be my agent because AOP was on a payroll for 2 hours for 2 years before they even came back, made it on screen debut. The other person that won to the contract is the agents for Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, who got paid to do shit because they didn't do nothing with him.
Like, I kind of feel like the timing would be right now that if you wanted to do a Club proper, especially if like we don't know where the bloodline's going or anything like that, like or like the new bloodline, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. But I mean, shit, you have
You turn
Tama.
you turn Cody heel. Guess what? You have all the Bullet Club right there.
No, I was gonna say you gotta bring Finn, bring AJ. Fuck, like I know that they weren't together at the same time, but you have that opportunity now.
Then
Like you
in
thought
no
Bullet Club was bad in New Japan, we
ooh,
can do it better.
then in no surprise, Electra Lopez and Giovanni Vinci and Duke Hudson out of NXT. Uh, yeah,
I mean, I was gonna say like the Giovanni thing is kind of crazy, just in that like part of like one of the bigger factions in NXT with Imperium, they get called up to the main roster, and I mean like yeah, you could make the argument he was like the weaker link of the three, but still like the fact that he breaks away from Imperium or he gets booted out, has one match on SmackDown on his own. That's like, oh nope, and you're
loses
done.
in 30 seconds to someone who's not been in the ring in forever.
Yeah, like,
So, yeah,
bruh.
it's crazy, but yeah. So those are the WWE releases. But hey, we need to make some room to bring in Ricky Starks and Aleister Black. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
with that too, with releases, we also got some surprises for the WWE Hall of Fame inductions. They surprised Triple H with an announcement, and then he goes and tries to go one up on the Undertaker on Sports Center and announces Michelle McCool going in, which is I think great great addition to the Hall of Fame. So I mean, right now we got two in, we got the woman, we got the main man. Now who else? Who else are they gonna put in?
We got it's almost kind of crazy. It's like, yeah, you could say that both are definitely deserving. Um God, what is the word though? Um Damn it. Try to think of the word, like, you get something, you get a role, or you get a you get a reward because of like who your family is and who you're. Why am I blanking on this word right now? Fucking
Privilege.
crazy. Well, no, I mean, privilege is part of it, but there's it's not like a meritocracy kind of thing. Privilege based. I, I can't believe I'm having a youth syndrome right now.
Welcome to getting older.
Nepotism. There we go.
Oh,
That was what I was. Is it
that's
like
not
nepotism?
true.
Well,
The
no,
first,
I was just saying. No, it's just kind of crazy. It's like the first two inductees. Like, what is Triple H, the guy that runs the company? Now, granted,
it's
also get
deserving.
well, no, one, it's deserving, yes. But it was also kind of the whole, like he's never going to induct himself, so we're going to go behind his back and we're going to we're going to basically force him to be inducted. So there's like that. But then the flip side of it, of like Michelle McCool getting in and being like, oh, well, I'm going to get a one up on the Undertaker now. Now I'm going to make sure
I,
that.
I, I think I think that kind
So
of
it's like
brings down
that's
the.
the first two names that are announced. It's kind of like, but no, it's definitely two deserving names. I mean, I was not the biggest Michelle McCool fan back in the day.
Lady McCool,
But
man, Lady McCool,
Lay Cool.
Lady Cool.
Yeah, I mean, eh,
Dude, she's the first Divas champion.
OMG. No, I mean, but it's definitely deserving. Like, she kind of carried the women's division in a weaker time. But she definitely made a lot of contributions. I tell you what, I kind of feel like the stuff that she's contributed post her major run, like I feel like the match that she had at the Evolution pay per view, the matches that, or like when she's been in the Royal Rumble matches, she's been able to hold her own and not look.
When she wrestled in Uggs.
Yeah. Oh man, no. So I mean, it's definitely deserving and like a big name for the women's division. And then Triple H, like, yeah, like that's a no brainer. Like, dude should have been inducted ages ago.
Yeah.
So it's good to finally see him get in there and get the honor and the respect that he deserves. Just kind of one of those things that, like, it's weird. Like Vince McMahon would never put himself in because he's like, if I'm still running this thing, then well. So it's just kind of crazy, like Triple H running this thing right now, and then seeing him go in. It's kind of like, huh. And then we will probably never see Vince McMahon inducted into the Hall of Fame, given everything that's been going on. So,
Watch next year. Gonna be Stephanie.
oh, and then it'll truly, truly be nepotism.
Well, no, because look what Stephanie
Well,
just
no,
did.
I know. I'm
No,
just
no, it's
saying,
not
it's like it
nepotism.
reeks of that. No, like no,
Actually,
it's definitely very, very deserving.
it's very refreshing to see her back around more often now, be like in
Yeah.
pressers or behind the scenes. I think it's more refreshing seeing her because
Well,
she
and I think
she
I
did
think it's
so much
like,
good. She done so much good in the later years for wrestling.
but I think that at least the impression that I've been getting, and maybe it'll change like once all of their daughters are out of the house. But the kind of the impression that I get is that she enjoys kind of the spot that she's at now, where she can kind of like duck in and duck out.
Yeah.
It's not like a 24/7 deal. The fact that she's being able to have more time at home with her kids and everything else, it's kind of one of those things. She gets to hold down the fort while Triple H is running the company and doing the creative and doing all that. But then again, gets to like jump in here and there for the big things like the manias and
Yeah.
so I don't know who else do you think gets inducted this year? Because I've actually like one thing that I have heard, and I don't know if this is necessarily going to be this year or not, but that they've made great strides in trying to patch things up with Demolition, and that's kind of interesting because that was between the lawsuits and everything that date back years, like it seemed like that would never be a fence that would be patched up, but it looks like we're getting to there. And I know that you're maybe not necessarily the biggest Demolition fan, but that is a big part of WWE history. They were in the record books. Barry Darso had been with the company in different iterations for a long time. Like, I mean, that would be kind of a big thing to see Demolition get inducted. When you look at like iconic WWE tag teams.
It's true. Um, I don't know. I think it's like every year it's the same. It's the same name list. You can just bring the list back out. I think Demolition, Tommy Dreamer. Um, I mean, the list. It's still you still got Batista. You still got. God, you can do like what you did with Ray Mysterio with Randy Orton too, at some point.
Yeah. Let me
Um,
ask this. Let me ask this. Let's maybe change up the question. Now that we know that WrestleMania is going to be coming here to New Orleans next year, is there a big glaring name with a New Orleans connection that you feel like needs to be inducted?
no, not really. Not top of my head, no.
Hmm. We'll have to think on that and then like come back to it and be like try to guess who needs induction.
I think if you're gonna do,
I feel like all right, I'll throw this out there. I feel like if we're gonna go with like New Orleans being a music city, right, and being like known for whatever. If Cyndi Lauper is not fucking inducted by next year, we're gonna have a serious fucking problem. It's not, and I know it's like a weak New Orleans connection, but I'm just saying if we're gonna go celebrity wing, somebody should have
I
been inducted a long time
I felt like if when they hit Glass was in New York and they didn't introduce her then, I was like, ugh. I don't know when she's gonna end. She might get in this year in Vegas. I like to see
maybe.
her in Vegas. That kind of goes together. But like in New Orleans, I'd say like if we know that it's running down next year, you could have Cena.
He did film 12 round here.
12 rounds. He did have had a couple beers before he had to wrestle the fuck Undertaker. So I mean, I don't know. I just think there's so you can go so many things, but I mean, it's just like, oh,
But uh-oh.
gotta switch it up.
Well, I don't have headphones, man, so I'm just doing this au natural, baby.
Yeah, well, I'm literally filming from outside, so technically it's up.
Well, I will. Maybe this isn't necessarily a bad time to call it because we have been recording for roughly an hour and a half now,
Yeah,
almost.
it's
And as much as I want to talk about The Rock, I kind of feel like we could legitimately do a separate episode just about what the fuck is going on with The Rock. Um, like what is the character? What are we doing here? I get it. You ask a bunch of questions, but it's like there's not a lot of logical sense that's going on with it, and I feel like that alone could be a topic for a good 30 or more minutes just sitting there talking about that. So we'll put a pin in that and we'll re-explore that topic. Um, but dude, no, I'm excited. WrestleMania is going to be coming back here to New Orleans. Can't wait to be a part of that number. As I say, you and I are going to have to start kind of game planning about how we're going to make that week work.
Lindsay gonna have a blast. Like, oh, hey, Lindsay, me, Kurt, Chris, we're all gonna go to WrestleMania, but you and Kevin gonna come here and then shoot live as a simulcast, and then we're gonna be cutting in back and forth from the dome. Yeah.
Oh, that'll go over about as well as a fart in church. But hey, it's worth a shot, man. We can try to figure it out.
If not, we'll probably take over Kevin's house and then Kevin's apartment and throw out his wife out.
Yeah, his wife can come hang out with my wife, and we'll see how that
No,
goes.
because the cat.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna hang out outside the house,
Um, yeah, we'll do a special 30-minute episode about The Rock and what the fuck's going on with The Rock. Also in March, because it's Women's Month, we will be doing look back, a retro look back about the Mae Young Classic in 2017 of the participants that was in that classic
A
and
lot
what
of big names
they done
today.
in the industry. Because there's big names and won big titles. And probably was like, damn, that's one collection of young talent in one ring that I don't think we'll never see ever again.
Pretty innovative concept, and it's kind of like it makes you scratch your head that like, okay, if we were to do something now, if you're trying to like pick out like the young up and coming, prospects, who would you fill out that field with? It's kind of intriguing discussion, but
I think actually
I'm looking
between
forward to talking about that.
and that also brings up like, hey, now with a partnership with TNA, why don't you have like the TNA Women's Division with NXT Women's Division with the Raw and SmackDown Women's Division have a pay per view like they did before?
Do kind of like a women's promotional cup or something like that, where you pick like the like maybe the four best from each brand or something like that, and you have basically no, that'll be a fun episode to do. Can't wait to film that in a couple of weeks. So stick around for that. Good things are in the pipeline for the podcast. But thank you for tuning in as always. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And for Rampage Ramsey, this is Ravishing Randy signing out.
All right, I'm Rampage Joe. We'll see you next time.